All right, we back. Motor Street Sports Talk. We in the building. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And Darius Slay and the Detroit Lions are working on a long-term deal, according to ESPN. And I'll link that article in the description. If they don't reach a long-term deal, then the Lions are going to trade Darius Slay. So let's talk about it. Can they afford to trade Darius Slay? Should they trade Darius Slay? Some of the things we talked about, and it depends on what the deal is for Darius Slay. Just feel like yesterday he got his new deal, but he turned 29 on New Year's. People, say, oh, they should get rid of Darius Slay, but Darius Slay, they only really good player. He the only player that really actually made the Pro Bowl. And people talk about, well, he give this many balls up. In today's NFL, there's not a perfect corner. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't touch these guys no more. So, you know what I'm saying? And people tend to forget the Chris Houston days, the Drake Bly days, the Aaron Berry days, the Bill Bentley days, when you didn't have a corner as good as Darius Slay. Nowhere near as good as Darius Slay. Did Darius Slay struggle his rookie year with zone? Yeah, and he eventually got better at it. But he was a man corner, a JUCO transfer from Mississippi State. And he been the best corner, that I can remember the Lions had in a long time. You know what I'm saying? And, going into a make-or-break year for Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, can you afford to trade your best corner? And people say, well, just draft Jeff Okudah. Do you know the learning curve for a cornerback is really tough? You know what I'm saying? And, put Amani Rockley out there. And then we keep Rashad Melvin. And, if things go wrong, we could put him in. So, people want to hinge Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia's future on a second-year corner, Amani Rockley, who I like a lot, and a rookie Jeff Okudah. With that sorry-ass front seven, they're going to get torched all year. People going to have a field day. And your safety's going to look Will Harris, Tracy Walker. And then you're going to have Coleman, who was, one of the worst cornerbacks in the league, Okudah and Amani Rockley. So your back end going to match your front end, which is terrible. The Lions have to build up front, before they can really add to the back end. They have to find pass rushers. They have to find linebackers that can plug and fill and cover, because if they get no pressure, the back end suffer. And if the back end don't cover, no matter how good your front end is, they work in cohesiveness. But, depending on what the price is, the Lions have $50 million under the cap. They never hesitate to pay Matthew Stafford. You know what I'm saying? But for Darius Slay, he's 29 years old. So depending on what a long-term deal looking like, he probably going to end his career off on this contract. You know what I'm saying? He's still athletic. People say, well, he's often injured. So is Matthew Stafford. He was injured the last 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. Because if you draft Jeff Okudah, or if you keep Darius Slay, you still got to build that front seven. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, you can't get rid of the best corner you had in the last 20 years. You know what I'm saying? That's the. I mean, you looking to trade him, and you probably get a third or fourth for him. If you're lucky, maybe a second, and you're gonna put Jeff Okudah in. So where did you improve your team at? At the top of the draft, you didn't improve, because right now Jeff Okudah would be a drop off from Darius Slay. Down the road, it might be an upgrade, and then not only if you counting on Jeff Okudah, you counting on a Rockley to come in and be great. So all of a sudden, your secondary went from being a strength to being a weakness. That's what you got to look at. So it's difficult, and sometimes you got to know when to get out from under a player before you get old too. That's the question. If Darius Slay getting old and he about to fall off, and they see the fall off coming, well, they should trade him. But remember, this is the best corner you had in your league, in your team. You know what I'm saying? There's no guarantee that Jeff Okudah going to be great in your system, because you don't have the supporting cast around him for him to be great. But it sounds good. You put Okudah there. You put Amani Rockley there. You got Coleman in the nickel. You know what I'm saying? Playing the slot. And then, Will Harris and Tracy Walker. You got a young secondary. They could do nothing but get better. But, with the Lions, reputation, not having that pressure up front, and the reputation of players coming here in the field. But you got to forget, you got to put a premium on guys that want to be here too. Darius Slay want to be here. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be here. He wants to retire here. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to leave. But, my personal thoughts on it is it's iffy. To be honest, he probably my favorite Lion. It's iffy because then you got to pay Darius Slay as well, too. I mean, you got to pay Kenny Galladay as well, too. So for me, it's real, it's iffy. You know what I'm saying? Because you sign him and he give him his money, he 29 years old and he fall off, then you looking stupid. So it depends on how much money they going to give him. If it's a team-friendly deal or if it's a deal where it make both sides good and it doesn't compromise the Detroit Lions, then you do it. If not, if he want top 5, top 3, top 2 corner money, or he want Xavier Howard type corner money, then you move him. You know what I'm saying? Then you move him, but he's a good player. He's a good player. He probably go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl. Somebody trade for him. Eagles. They was looking at him last off season. A lot of teams look at him. Patriots might come try to snatch him up and match him up with Stephon Gilmore. They put a premium on man cover corners. San Francisco, they can look at him with Sherman looking all old over there. The Houston Texans, they can look at him. Denver Broncos, they can look at him. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a trade market out there for him. It depends, what compensation you get for him. But, all of them the back end is going to suffer until they put a D-line out there, they get pressure on the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Bob Quinn got to focus on. He got to focus on getting them pass rushers out there, stopping the run, getting some speed out there on defense. But you know what? I wouldn't be mad if they got rid of Darius Slay. I would understand. If he wanted too much money or they felt that he was too old, I would understand. You want to come in with the youth movement with Okudah, or they want to bring in a Byron Jones or a Chris Harris or something like that, I would get it. But that's a really, really young and inexperienced secondary if you get rid of Darius Slay and you replace him with Okudah. You know what I'm saying? For people that's really believing in the Lions is going to make a 49ers type of shift next year. You know what I'm saying? Could Okudah come in and be Marshawn Lattimore or Marcus Peters' rookie year? Possibly. You know what I'm saying? It could happen, but it's a learning curve. Patrick Peterson had to go through the learning curve. Darrelle Revis went through the learning curve. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. And y'all got to remember, Ohio State didn't play nobody. And the thing also, again, with Ohio, other than Clemson, the thing is college football is different at the cornerback position. They allow you to hold a little bit more. They allow you to be a little bit more handsy, a little bit more physical, other than the targeting room. It allows that. In the NFL, everything is versed towards offense. That's why the Chiefs overcame the 49ers. Because they're going to get an offense the benefit of the doubt now. They want high-scoring Super Bowls. They don't want defensive teams there. That's what the pro sports going to, the NBA and NFL. They want high-scoring teams. They don't want defense. That's why they're taking it out the game. So they got some contingency plans. It's some good market for corners out there in the draft. It's a good market for corners in free agency. But until they build their front end, no matter who they put in the back end, they're not going to be at their best. That's it. If the quarterback got 7 to 10 Mississippis to throw the ball, you're going to get torched. Imagine putting Okudah and Amani Orakwe and Coleman out there and Harris out there and Walker out there and Patricia Steele rushing 3 next year, rushing 4 next year, not getting to the quarterback. The Lions going to give up 30 points per game. They're going to be worst in giving receiving yards and touchdowns to the opposition receivers. But I respect their decision. But remember, this is the best corner you guys probably had in the last 20 years, Detroit Lions. You know what I'm saying? If you trade him for a second, third, fourth, you bring in Okudah, you know what I'm saying? Where did you improve your team at? You didn't. That's what you got to remember. Really, you going with the potential of a lot of young secondary. So they got to improve that front end before anything gonna happen. So we'll see what happens, man. I'll link the article in the description. Hopefully they figure some things out. If not, they move Darius Slay. We'll be on it. Appreciate the love, support. We'll be talking about the Pistons as the trade deadline dwindles down. You see my Luke Kennard video. He possibly could be headed to Phoenix, maybe not. Phoenix will be here tomorrow to play the Pistons. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email, If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request, keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? That link's in the description. Best way to donate is share the video. And don't forget, check my other channel out, Goodfellas Sports TV, for more sports, music, news, and entertainment right here on YouTube. That's Goodfellas Sports TV. One time for the one time. Your boy CJ Goodfella, we gone.